Hello everyone, I am Harshit Gambhir, and today I will be giving a tech talk on Supabase. I hope you all will like it and will get a brief understanding of what Supabase is and how you can use it in one of your projects. So yes, so in this tech talk, I will be talking about what is Supabase and what it offers and what services it provides to build a stable backend, and at the end we will have a short demo, and we will also look at the services like how to create users tables and how we can write authentication methods and policies also. So let's start with the first slide. So what is Supabase? Supabase is basically an open source alternative to Firebase. We all know that we all know Firebase, but if you don't, Firebase is a backend as a service which gives multiple services like authentication, real-time database, and crash analytics, and other services that helps us to build a stable backend in less time. But in Firebase, as it's a proprietary technology of Google, and if whenever we create a project in Firebase, it's already tied to Google, and if anytime Google tries to back out the Firebase, our project will get deleted automatically. So it's we can call it like a vendor lock-in. And another reason that we should use Supabase, other than Firebase, is like in Firebase, whenever we create a project, it uses the services of proprietary technologies. Like for example, for database, like we use a Firestore database of Firebase. It is a proprietary technology, and if for any reason we try to move our database to another platform, we cannot do it in Firebase. We will have to design the whole structure of our database in the new platform. We cannot shift it right away. So it basically, if Google tries to back out the Firebase, we will be screwed up. So that's the main two reasons why Superbase is growing properly other than Firebase. So let's look at Superbase and what services it provide. So first of all, it provides a PostgreSQL database, which is right now the best database among all SQL databases. It has so many features of SQL that it's considered the best database. In Firebase, it provides NoSQL databases, NoSQL database. In different projects, there's a different demand of database. Like for example, in social networks feeds, we use NoSQL database for high performance. But in enterprise applications, or where we have to perform ACID transactions, like if a transaction happens, not didn't happen, so we know about it. So it basically, to perform ACID transactions, we use SQL databases for that. So Superbase has an advantage over the Firebase for that. And in this, it is a dedicated database, so it is not tied up to Superbase. It's an open source database, and we can also shift it to our own platform if we try to decouple it with Superbase. So coming to next service, it uses the PostgreSQL row level security. It RLS, the PostgreSQL database provides that low level security, in which we can manage users, and we can do authentication with it. So Supabase has not done anything with the authentication system. It directly uses the RLS of the PostgreSQL. So we are not tied to any proprietary technology of authentication. It also supports file storage. Like in Firebase, we have a cloud storage. In Supabase, we have file storage, and it already supports large files also. And whenever we add whenever we create any table or add rows to it, it all automatically generates APIs for us. So, for example, where if we create a table in the database, and it will automatically generate the CRUD APIs for that, and every column and every it will support the APIs till every column. Like if we want to get a single column, it will also generate APIs for that. And the next service is it provides is serverless functions. It's not available right now. It's in coming soon phase. So these are the services that it provides. So coming to the next slide, so database. So database, in every backend project, we need a database to store data of our users or anything. So Supabase uses a PostgreSQL database. It's 100% portable. Like we can also use we can also transfer our own database. So for example, if we are shifting our previous backend to the Supabase, we can use that previous Postgres database directly in the Supabase. So we don't have to structure it again. It will already we can already transfer it into the Supabase with the SQL queries. So and for database, it uses PostgreSQL row level security. So it performs user authentication on the database level. It uses JWT token for authentication, which is the standard right now for authentication. And it also supports real-time data change over WebSockets. Like Firebase gives us real-time database support. It also provides that. And for and it also provide and whenever we have to create a table or create add columns or rows, it provides two types of dashboard to us. So first is a table editor for simple users, where it basically is like a SQL client in which we can add columns using drop down or using buttons. And it also provides a powerful SQL editor for advanced users. Like we can add queries, we can do anything that we do in PostgreSQL through queries. So it provides that also. So these are the database functions. Coming to next slide, for authentication. So every Supabase project comes with all tools related to authentication, and it support also social logins like Google, Facebook, GitHub, and all major social providers it support. So as it uses Postgres row level security, the authentication and authorization is built in the database, and we can manage it directly from the database. Um, so as so in Firebase, like we store our database in the Google storage. In Supabase, we directly store our all data in the open source Postgres database. So they are not storing anything on their behalf. Yes, if we use their cloud service, they will host servers for ourselves, but we can self manage also that. So yes, so it comes with libraries, client libraries also, and server side also. So we can use it in our JavaScript applications. It comes with client libraries like for Python, C++, JavaScript, and we can also use it on server side also, like in Node.js or any other server side languages. So this is for authentication. Now coming to storage, every project requires a storage to store user files or any images, videos, etc. And Supabase uses an object storage which has an unlimited scalability. So we can store any size of file. It depends upon which plan we use. So, and if we self-host, it will go into the unlimited scalability. So, and coming to storage, it has a seamless integration with database and auth. So, like we can add policies where we want to authenticate users before showing them any files. So we can do that. And if cloud functions come, they will also have integration with the storage. So so the Supabase have a API layer on top of PostgreSQL where we can manage the connection between all their services. The storage is enterprise level scalability and durability. So as it's managed on the open source, so it will have the enterprise level security. And it also provides a dashboard, full dashboard, where we can view our media files and add them and delete them. And so it provides a whole dashboard for managing them. It also provides it also provides a transformation, but it's in a coming soon phase. Like whenever we, like for example, if a user is uploading a profile photo, so we have to optimize it and crop it or apply transformations to it. So it's in the coming soon phase. Right now it's not available. So coming to the functions, it's not available right now. It's in coming soon phase. It will be similar to cloud functions in Firebase. Like we can write custom code in multiple languages, and it will all have connections with different services of Supabase. So coming to client libraries, Supabase provides client libraries for all major client languages like JavaScript, Angular, Expo, Flutter, React, and Next.js. So for example, here's a code for JavaScript where we are calling the supabase.auth.signup. So it's basically performing an email and password authentication, where we are getting an object with properties like user, session, and error. If there's an error, so in this way we can call the authentication service of Supabase in JavaScript. In the next example, querying a cities table from Supabase. So it will select all cities in all cities in the cities table. So it will give the data and an error object. So in this way we can use it. So coming to the pricing phase, it provides a free tier, which is limited to up to 500 megabytes of database space and a 10,000 users limit. And there's also a $25 per user per month, per user per month, and it will go up to 8 GB of database space and 100,000 users limit. And there's also a pay as you go model, which is $25 and plus $0.125 per GB of database space and unlimited users. So you can also view the full pricing by going to the down link. So let's have a demo. We will look at the dashboard and how we can manage our whole backend from the dashboard. So here's the supabase.io website. We'll go to the start your project. We will right now it's only provide with continue with GitHub login. So we will do that. So here's the dashboard of Supabase. It already create a default organization. We can have multiple organizations. So first we will create a project. We will choose a default organization. We will give a project name of blog. So we will create a blog project in which we will have a post table, and it will contain multiple posts, and we will fetch post and we will insert post. So basically, so we'll write a database password and make sure it's a strong password, and वरना ये लेगा नहीं बिल password. So then we click it, create new project. We can select the region also. So it will take a few minutes to set up.
हर्षित, वन क्वेश्चन.
Yeah, sure.
ऐसा मान लो कि हमारे पास पहले से ही कोई डेटाबेस पड़ा हुआ है एंड वी जस्ट वांट टू मेक एन एडमिन पैनल यूजिंग दैट डेटाबेस, तो इज दैट पॉसिबल इनटू इट, और मतलब
आपका प्रोजेक्ट बेसिकली यू हैव
नहीं,
आपको
बेसिकली सी
एडमिन पैन.
we have made APIs and we have made front end and admin panel बनाना है, राइट? तो डू दे प्रोवाइड समथिंग लाइक दैट कि डेटाबेस अपना कनेक्ट कर दो एंड लाइक यहाँ पे सारा मैनेज कर लो डेटा क्वेरी कर करके, समझ रहे हो ना? लिस्ट ऑफ यूजर्स में से निकाल के थिंग्स करते हैं.
नहीं, ऐसा तो अभी इसमें तो मतलब डेटाबेस अपना कनेक्ट करने का तो ऑप्शन नहीं है इसमें, क्योंकि ये डेटाबेस हमें इनका यूज करना पड़ेगा जो पोस्टग्रेसक्यूएल प्रोवाइड करते हैं ये.
तो ऐसा नहीं है कि मान लो हम आरडीएस कहीं और से लाएं, AWS से खरीद लिया फिर उसको यहाँ पे यूज कर रहे हैं, दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल.
हाँ, ये कर सकते हैं, जैसे हम इसे सेल्फ होस्ट कर सकते हैं.
अच्छा,
बट जो मेन डेटाबेस होगा वो तो हमें इनका यूज करना पड़ेगा, पोस्टग्रेस वाला. वो ऐसा नहीं है कि हम माई यूज कर लें या कोई और पोस्टग्रेसक्यूएल में मतलब कनेक्ट कर लें ऐसे. वो पॉसिबल हो जाएगा शायद जब क्लाउड फंक्शंस हम करेंगे यूज, तो उसके अंदर हम एपीआई से कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं उसे. अभी तो इसमें ऐसा कुछ मैंने देखा नहीं है कि हम कुछ कनेक्ट कर सके हैं. मे बी आई थिंक आई मिस्ड आउट समथिंग. आप डॉक्स में एक बार देख सकते हैं अगर मैंने कुछ मिस करा हो तो शायद
हाँ, इसमें
प्रोवाइड.
टेबल वगैरह दिख रहा था ना, तो आई थॉट मे बी वो फंक्शनलिटी भी प्रोवाइड करते हैं.
So it's taking a little bit time. So while it's setting up, let's look at the menus. So it provides table editor, authentication, storage, and SQL editor, and a database. It also provides an API section. We will look at it later. So it's done setting up.
इसमें रेस्ट एपीआई अपनी लिख सकते हैं?
रेस्ट एपीआई ये बेसिकली उनके लिए, जैसे हमें बैकएंड का इसमें कुछ भी एक भी कोड नहीं लिखना पड़े, मतलब खुद एपीआई प्रोवाइड कर दे, CRUD की और सब कुछ. अभी तो CRUD की एपीआई प्रोवाइड करेगा, आगे क्लाउड फंक्शंस आएंगे तो हम अपने आप भी कुछ भी लिख सकते हैं अपनी एपीआई और.
मतलब ये जो भी डेटा हम ऐड करेंगे पूरा क्रेडिट ये दे देगा, हम सर्विस या
हाँ.
एपीआई खुद से नहीं बना सकते,
नहीं, खुद
ऐड
से
नहीं कर
नहीं.
सकते?
हाँ, खुद से ऐड नहीं कर सकते अभी इसके अंदर. वो आपको भी जो ये प्रोवाइड करेगा वो यूज करना पड़ेगा आपको भी इसका. और बेसिकली और सारी एपीआई प्रोवाइड करता ही है. मेनली आपको एपीआई तब लिखनी पड़ेंगी जैसे आपको कोई सर्विस यूज करनी है, कोई क्लाइंट थर्ड पार्टी सर्विस यूज करनी है. बेसिकली आपको तब एपीआई की शायद जरूरत पड़े, तो उसके लिए फिर क्लाउड फंक्शंस यूज कर सकते हैं, उसमें हम कोडिंग कर सकते हैं, कुछ भी लिख सकते हैं एपीआई में. वो इनके अभी कमिंग सून फेस में है. So let's go to the table editor section. So right now there's no table. We can create a table. So we will name it post. Description is optional. We can also enable row level security. I'm not enabling it right now. We will talk about this later. So it provides a default column of ID. It's a unique ID. It's an integer type, and it sets it as a primary key. It also provides optional created at and updated at columns. We can add columns also, like we can give it a name of, like we can give it a name of title, and we can give a type of text. So it provides multiple types. All provides that PostgreSQL provide. And we will let the default value null. And we will uncheck the is nullable parameter here so that it cannot be null. And we will add another column of content. This will also be the text type, and we will do the same for this. We can also set is unique and an array also. Here's a parameter. So we will hit save here. So yeah, so our table has been created, post table, and columns are set. We can insert a row by clicking the insert row button. The ID will be auto generated, and we can give a title of first post title, and we can add a content, first post content, and it will automatically set created at and updated at. Then we will hit save. So the first row is created. So it's basically similar to the SQL client that we use daily day-to-day basis. So we will add another row here, second post title, and for content, second post content. We will hit save. So our two rows have been created. And now if we go to the API section that I was talking about, so whenever we go to the API section, it builds the docs completely again. So right now, like in tables and views section, it already created a post documentation for us. So in this documentation, it will give all queries that we can perform in our JavaScript client. We can also edit it using this input, but it already provides all queries that we can use. So there's a read rows queries that we can use. We can use this in our JavaScript client to fetch all post. Star is for all post. And if we have to fetch a single column, we can also mention the name of that column. Yeah. So it provides pagination also, similar to like PostgreSQL queries.
अच्छा it's like कि मतलब जिनको बैकएंड नहीं आता they can
Yes.
manually create data and वो APIs दे देंगे बना के and front end वाला यूज कर सकते हैं इसको,
Yes, yes,
है ना?
बिल्कुल. सो फिल्टरिंग भी है इसके अंदर, इक्वल टू प्रोवाइड करता है, ग्रेटर देन, जो जो फंक्शंस हमारे पोस्टग्रेस में होते हैं वो सारे प्रोवाइड करेगा ये. तो हमें बैकएंड की लिखने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी इसके अंदर बिल्कुल भी. सो I will give a demo of this API in Postman. So we will get and post, we will post and get some post. So it provides a bash tab here. It uses the curl for doing the queries. We will use the Postman. So right now the key is hidden. So first let's talk about what keys are required to fetch to connect with our Supabase client. So there are two types of keys: NN key and a service key. NN key is like an anonymous key. It's like client key. We will have to add whenever we create a scope based client. And service key is like we can use it on the server side of our applications. So right now we are enabling the NN key. So I will open the Postman and create a new tab. So to read post, I will copy this URL. We will have to add a header of API key. And copy this. And we will also have to add the authorization header. This is the JWT token of that. So there's we can add it in two places, like here, or we can add in the authorization tab. So I will add it in the authorization tab. So yeah, so if we make the get query, it will hopefully return all the posts. Yeah, so it returns the 200 status and all the posts. Like I was talking about, if we have to return a single column, like a title column only, so we can write select is equals to title, and it will only return the title column. And if we have to return multiple columns, we can add select is equals to ID. We can add multiple columns in the we can ID and column and title, comma, and content. So it will return ID, title, and content. So there are multiple types of queries that we can perform. We can perform pagination also, filtering. So there's multiple type of queries we can perform. So let's look at how we can insert the data, how we can make the post request. So I will add a new tab, change it to post. We will have to add the API key again. We will select the authorization to bearer token. It's already added. So so like we are making a post request, we'll have to add data. Like we can add a third post with title of third post title and content of third post content. So if we make the post request, it will hopefully return a 201 status, and it will create a row in the database. If we check, we go into the table editor. Yeah, so it created a third row, and if we fetch again from the get, it returns the third row. So in many applications, we cannot allow everyone to get and post request with the API key. So we have users, certain users like admin or editors, like they can only create and see the title of the post. So we can do that also with we can do this using the authentication tab. We will create a policy which is the policies of row level security in Postgres. So it will manage our authentication. So it's a layer on top of Postgres. So for this, we will have to enable the RLS first. It's not enabled by default. So we will enable it. We'll confirm it. So it's enabled. We can create a new policy. So there are two types of policy. We can use a policy from template so that we don't have to write it. And we can also write a policy from scratch. So we will use a policy from template. So there are four types of policies here. First, we can enable the read access to everyone, so that every user has access. Every user and every person with the key has access to our data. And we can and the second one is enable insert access for authenticated users only. So these are the four templates. Third one is enable update access for user based on their email. So we can check that certain users have certain emails, only then we can allow them to update anything in the database. We can also manage the delete access using their user ID. So all these policies, we can write more policies in the create from scratch tab. These are the four templates that it provides. So so if we are not creating a policy right now, and if we try to fetch the post now, as we have enabled the RLS policy, it will not allow us to fetch any post right now, because we have enabled the RLS row level security feature of Postgres. So it will not allow us to fetch any data, and also to update any data post request. If we post it, it will throw a 403 or forbidden status. And if we create this policy that enables read access to everyone, like if we use this template, we can select insert, we can use any of the options right here. We will use the select operation and it returns true. We will review it. You can review the policies. We will hit save policy. So our first policy is created, and now if we try to fetch the data, so now it allows us to fetch the data. Now any user can fetch the data. And now I will show a demo of how a user, we will write a policy where a single only authenticated users can create a post in the database. So for that we will have to first go into the users tab here. So right now there are no users in the. So Supabase has a separate table for the users. So it does not store that in the database, that in the table that we can create. So it already a default table for authentication for users. So we can create a new user here. We can provide the ID. I will write my ID here. So we can invite that user. So it's right now it's waiting for verification. And if I show you, and if I show you, and if I show you by going to my email address, there will be an email. It's not there yet. It should have been there. it's not coming right now. It basically sends an email to that user for verification. So if they have done verification, it will change it to verified. And here we can see all the details like user UID they created, their provider and their email, and also the phone number, if there's a feature for that. So as we have created a user, we can go to the policies tab and create a new policy. We will first we will select we will get the ID of that user. We will get the ID and then we will create a policy. Like in this policy, it's like in this policy, it's doing like for insert, like if we are inserting something in the database, it will check that auth.role is authenticated. So it will allow insert it will allow insert for all authenticated users. The users have to be authenticated for that. And if we have to set it for a single user, like for an admin user or something, we can use it's not allowing editing right now. We can copy this and create a new scratch policy. Let's look at how we can do the authentication based on the role right now. Like if the user is authenticated, we will allow the insert operation with that. So we will use that and we will insert. We will review. So this is the whole policy and save policy. So right now, if we try to send a post request, it will not allow us for that. And if we will have to get the JW token of that user. For that, it needs the verification. So I'm sending the email again for that. So now it comes. So so it sends an email like that. We can click on it's now on localhost because we have not inserted our app URL yet, so it's on localhost. We can click the accept invite. So as you are seeing, as you all are seeing that here's the access token. This access token is of the user. We can create an app where we can fetch that access token and store it in our store it in our client side. So for every request we send that access token to the Supabase backend. So it does that. We can copy that access token for our Postman case. So I will copy that. And if we refresh, yeah, so there's no waiting for verification right now. And if we go to the Postman, we can also check like what it's sending, like going to the jwt.io website. Like we can paste that token here. Yeah, so this is the payload that it sends. An odd parameter expiry date. It's the sub is the UUID of that user. Email, phone, app data, metadata, user metadata, and role. So it sent these data. So if we go to the Postman, instead of that anonymous key, we will send that token as the authorization. So, and if let's change it, yeah. Yeah. So let's change it to the fourth post. And if we now send a post request, it will hopefully create a new post. Yes. So it's sent the status of 201. And if we refresh it, yeah, so it creates a new post. And it has given an ID of 6 here, not 4, because as we have made a request of a previous 2 request that returns a 403 status, so it counts that also in the ID parameter. So yes, it creates a new post with that. So basically in this way we can use policies to create a layer that manages all the authentication for our application. As we use this platform more, we will understand how the authentication works, and you can use all the authentication, all the documentation. You can read the documentation here. It provides authentic documentation for all services, authentication, and all. Yeah, so before moving to anything, any questions for anyone?
Yeah, Harshit, I had one question. इसमें वो सब सर्विसेज भी होती हैं जैसे स्कैन अ बारकोड और ऑब्जेक्ट वेरिफिकेशन, ये सब जैसे फायरबेस में होती है.
Can you elaborate, like what
जैसे
verification?
जैसे फायरबेस में एक काइंड ऑफ वो हमें फंक्शंस प्रोवाइड करते हैं कि अगर किसी बंदे को अपने एप्लीकेशन में बारकोड स्कैन करना है तो वो ऐसी सर्विस प्रोवाइड करते हैं कि प्रॉपर्ली फंक्शन होगा, बस हमें उसे यूज करना है और वो आपको एक एंड पॉइंट दे देंगे और उसको हिट करके आप उस बारकोड को स्कैन कर सकते हैं और वो उससे रिस्पॉन्स दे सकता है. तो इस टाइप का भी हम इसमें कुछ बना सकते हैं क्या?
नहीं, इसमें देख हम अपने आप से फंक्शंस अभी नहीं लिख सकते. वो क्लाउड फंक्शंस में आएगा जो हम अपने आप से एपीआईज लिख सकते हैं. अपनी कोई थर्ड पार्टी लाइब्रेरीज यूज करनी हो तो वो भी यूज कर सकते हैं. जैसे इमेजेस के लिए हम ट्रांसफॉर्म करने के लिए जो होती हैं थर्ड पार्टी लाइब्रेरीज, वो यूज कर सकते हैं. जैसे आप बारकोड का कह रहे हो, वो वैसी सर्विसेज अभी नहीं है इसके अंदर. बेसिकली अभी क्रड ऑपरेशंस के लिए है एपीआई जो प्रोवाइड करेगा ये हमें. सो बेसिकली यार नॉर्मल सिंपल बैकएंड के लिए अभी ये है. और सर्विसेज में ऐड होंगी, शायद आगे हो जाएंगी. अभी जितनी फायरबेस सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करता है अभी उतनी सर्विसेज है नहीं. 4 मेजर सर्विसेज हैं अभी इसकी बस. एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? किसी का कोई भी क्वेश्चन हो किसी सर्विस से रिलेटेड इसकी, या फायरबेस से कोई डिफरेंस क्या है इसका, कुछ भी क्वेश्चन हो किसी पे भी आप पूछ सकते हो।
मेरा एक और क्वेश्चन था कि जैसे हम स्कीमा बनाते थे बैकएंड में प्रॉपरली कि ये ऐसे ऐसे बनेगा और डेटाबेस का, तो इसमें उसका चक्कर नहीं है स्कीमा वगैरह बनाने का?
स्कीमा मैंने इसमें जो भी यूज करता है पोस्टग्रेस डेटाबेस यूज करता है। अब पोस्टग्रेस में हम जैसे यूज करते हैं सीक्वल यूज करते हैं पूरी, उसके अंदर हम टेबल्स बनाते हैं जो मैंने आपको दिखाया, रोज बनाते हैं, कॉलम्स बनाते हैं। तो ये वो प्रोवाइड करता है हमें। जैसे हम अगर टेबल एडिटर में जाएंगे यहाँ, तो जो स्कीमा होता है वो पूरा सीक्वल वाला स्कीमा है इसके अंदर, जिसमें हम पूरा टेबल्स बनाते हैं, उसकी रिलेशनशिप्स बनाते हैं। इसमें हम फॉरेन टेबल्स भी बना सकते हैं, उससे हम कनेक्ट भी कर सकते हैं। मैं इतना डिटेल में अभी गया नहीं। इसके अंदर हम अगर हम न्यू टेबल बनाएंगे और अगर हमें उससे कनेक्ट करना हो इस किसी भी कॉलम को, तो जैसे मैं यहाँ पे एडिट करूँगा, जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे एक न्यू कॉलम बनाया, जैसे मैंने UUID का एक कॉलम बना, यूज़र आईडी का बना दिया कॉलम। तो हमने यहाँ पे UUID सेलेक्ट कर लिया, तो हम यहाँ पे ऐड फॉरेन की वे लगा सकते हैं, जिसमें हम फॉरेन की लगा सकते हैं। जैसे हमें जैसे सीक्वल में हम रिलेट कर रिलेशनशिप बनाते हैं ना टेबल्स के बीच में, एक आईडी दूसरी टेबल की आईडी से जुड़ी होती है, कनेक्टेड होती है, तो वो हम इसमें कर सकते हैं। तो हम ऐसे स्कीमास हमें पूरा सीक्वल वाला ही सोच के इसमें बनाते हैं, नो सीक्वल वाला नहीं। और किसका कोई क्वेश्चन?